that has the weekend been for France thus far. The loss to Ireland was difficult, and Scotland beating their foes England out of the gate and beating Wales last time out to get to this 9th place playoff. The referee, Yoro Rivera from Argentina. This is his 22nd match. Scottish fans have hung around in the sun here. Hope there's no sunburns. Beautiful conditions here at Dignity Health Sports Park in Los Angeles, home of the Los Angeles Galaxy of MLS. And it will be French through the right boot of Uruguay, getting the game underway. Good basics from the Scottish lifting pod, and Davidson brings it down. Just playing in these shadows, this near 15 meters of the sideline. Wonder if that'll be a factor later on as they come in and out of the sun. Well, the Scottish side looks busy. Good width from them. Finally, they get the edge. On the outside is Lee Jones. He's done a lot of good, hard work for the Scottish team. Well, stringing the passes together. This is normal. That one doesn't go to hand. So, credit the French. They've held their line and nothing to show for it for Scotland.
Good defense from France. Epé got beaten around the edge, but he's got so much speed that he's going to chase that man down from behind pretty much every single time. Scotland started with good patience, but weren't really doing too much to dent France. I think France will be comfortable and Scotland will attack like that the rest of the game.
Of course, France are hosts not only for the Rugby World Cup next year, but the Olympic Sevens competition coming up to be played at Parc des Princes. All these teams with one eye on that after they get through Cape Town this month. Oh, the broken tackle, and he's in open field. Does he have the pace to finish it? Nisi Huyao uses his strength and gets the first try for France.
Good individual power and skill from Huyao. He's been one of their top players over the course of the season, more quiet this weekend than he has been in other stops, but has the power just to brush off the tackle there of Davidson, go through and put France on the board first, and it's come far too easily. The French were making the Scots work for their opportunities, but for the French, kind of one half width of the field, Huyao breaks one tackle, there's no one in behind, and he's in for the try.
Conversion to come right in front. Two more for France. 7-0. As we mentioned, France, this great Olympic nation. Well funded are these players, both on the men's and women's side. Just haven't found quite the form they wanted to. They made 5 quarterfinal appearances in the cup competition this year, but no finals. Scotland, the inventors of this great sevens game, the Snelling Sevens, have always been a participant. This will be their last appearance on the HSBC World Series. They will compete in the Sevens Rugby World Cup. And you've played against them many times, Madison. Just a special brand, Scottish Sevens Rugby.
Absolutely, as you mentioned, the game founded in Melrose in Scotland and have had so many historic moments of the years. Always a tough, combative team, and have had so many inspirational performances over the years, including a couple of cup wins in London. So many inspirational performances, and I'm sure a lot of their players will be integral to that GB team going forward.
Yeah, and so many of the elite Scottish players around. That ball spilled. It's dangerous to kick through. Will it stay on the park? This is going to be close. We're going to have a look at it. Great dive from Pierre Mignot. He knows where the try line is.
I'm going to check.
And our referee, Yori Rivero, will have a check. See if it was grounded in the corner. What's your thoughts, Madison?
I think he might have just got his hand on that and touched it down before it went over the dead ball line. I think the ball would be the only question, not his body.
Wow.
Looks like that comes down on the line, so I think that's not going to be a try. but we'll see what the referees say.
The whitewash is okay if it's the try line you're scoring on, but if it's the dead ball line at the back, which that one was, that is considered out of bounds. If that's the interpretation, it will be no try.
Yes.
Let's listen
The ball has gone dead in goal, so 22-meter restart.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's funny, all the players already lined up for that. I think they knew what was coming before the referee said it.
Time back on. What do you want?
So it was kicked through by the French. So a conventional 22. Good possession here for France now. Options both sides. They come into the shadows. Tripped up. This is Mazzolini.
Release!
He must release it. He's a lucky boy. Just got away with that. Ooh, big contact
It's
midfield.
backwards! It's backwards!
Stolen. And credit Kalim Murato putting his body on the line for Scotland, and they've got the ball back as a result. Spinning is Paddy Kelly. Lots of assistant refereeing going on out there by the players.
Oh, yeah!
Counter ruck by France, but they're off their feet. Quick tap. Barreto's gone. He lobs it out into space. Paddy Kelly wisely comes back. Now there's options. On the move from Barreto. Whistle's gone. No try here for Jamie Fondell.
Yeah, Fondell's still going in like he scored that, but the referee saying that's just drifted slightly forward, and unfortunate for Scotland. It's the first time in this match they've really stressed that French defence too much, getting around the edge, and Fondell has such a good eye for the try line, but getting it after the forward pass in that situation.
No, backwards.
Fondell still unbelieving. This is his 54th World Series event. He thought this was good. I think it just drifts forward out of the hand. Maybe there's not much in it. Over 130 tries for that man.
Okay.
Not on this occasion, though.
Time back on.
Scotland ringing some early changes, so I think a lot of these teams are a bit battered and bruised as the weekend's gone on. Limited subs on the bench, so you want to get those guys in and out and rotate through the teams. That means earlier substitutions than you might normally find.
France in their own 22, looking to mount an attack from all the way back. Gondidier on the outside.
Off it.
Ball pops loose, but the French prop off their feet, and the kick is not taken through the mark.
Yeah, the French trying to come in and really hit that contact point hard. I think because they were slightly delayed in arriving, just not in control of their body weight, and there were two of them flying in. Don't know if the Scottish bailed out, did the Matador approach that we've spoken about, where the defending player kind of bails out, which is something World Rugby have said they're going to have a look at and have a closer eye on. But in that situation, it is the penalty to Scotland. Now they'll have a chance in putting the ball in from the other side of the scrum, so that often gives you a better attacking platform.
Just explain that quickly. If I'm the French player arriving at the ruck looking to clean you out, what is the Matador? What are we talking about?
So in the Matador in that situation would be the defensive player looking and attacking, going towards the ruck as if he's going to be a competitor in that breakdown. Then at the last minute, stepping out of the way, like you kind of the Matador whipping the flag out of that situation to give the picture of the attacking supporting player going just straight off his feet.
Well, great insight there. Always just refining the laws of the game. Seven, such a fast, well-presented sport, an absolute explosion of talent. This one wheels, but it's popped out nicely from Barreto. He was isolated for his moment there, but he's won the penalty.
Hands on the floor first.
Hands on the floor. Quick tap. Catch and pass situation doesn't go to hand. Circling back. So Folarin off the bench. Coach Kieran Beattie looking to use all his talents. France up by 7. The Hooters sounded. Can the Scottish even this up at the end of the first half here? A bit of pushing off the ball. Maybe a soccer dive over there, but play on, said the ref. That one spilled forward. And that will do it for the half. Well, slightly scrappy affair as you'd expect. 6th game for these players. Right now it's France up 7-0 over. So much to come, so much on offer. The medals will be awarded. Will Australia be able to hold on? Winning a bronze will get it done for them. Will Fiji be able to take the title by winning the tournament? Or will South Africa sit and watch and claim the series championship. All on the cards right now, as is this one. France up by a try over Scotland for the 9th place playoff. Stolen from Scotland. The risky offload doesn't go to hand. The first one's off blue, though.
French immediately turning it over. They had the ball there at the start of the second half and the opportunity to get some attacking phases set, but turned it over deep inside their own 22. And now this is a golden opportunity for the Scots to tie it up. Didn't all go their way. They thought they were in one time with Farndale, and now it's interesting. They've lined up 2 men in behind this scrum, and then 1 man very, very far to the left. So they might try and peel these guys out to the right or to the left and create mismatches and see if France can't adjust. Looks like they're going to the left and attacking that wide side.
Big counter scrum from France. Penalty's going to be against Scotland.
Number 3, going down.
Yeah, looks like he's called the Scottish Scott Callum Young for pulling down the scrum. It looks like the French put the Scottish under a ton of pressure there, and then in response to that, the Scots tried to collapse that scrum in order to retain possession.
Yeah, perhaps a bit of a misnomer that in the Sevens game there isn't a battle at scrum time. It's a very important battle, actually, either to secure the platform or to disrupt.
Absolutely. I mean, if you can't retain your own set piece, you're going to have a hard time maintaining possession. And teams often look to the set piece as a chance to control the game, slow down the tempo. So for the French there, I mean, they had a scrum 5 meters from their own try line. And by really putting some pressure on the Scots, they've been able to now have the ball just on halfway line. So a big impact at scrum time from the French.
So the French with this line out, it's worth mentioning the Scots have a very short bench. Only 2 subs there available. The head coach, Kieran Beattie. The injuries are mounting up. Edmonds, Cullen, Ferguson, and McCann all unavailable.
And Scotland now in their turn, France in their turn, not able to retain their lineouts. So both teams trading off at the set piece. And yeah, you mentioned it's interesting. Scots have only 2 guys on their bench, but what they've been doing is they made 2 substitutions earlier in the game so they could pull 2 guys off, and then those 2 guys have now gone back on. So using the full 5 substitutions, even though they've only got 2 substitutes to do that.
Point. Set.
It's scrappy, and in fact, it's in French hands. Uragua's got it. Great release. Using the full width of the field. Great run from Aaron Grandidier. Fist pump for him.
I mean, and the story of that is really, that try is really 2 turned over scrums from the French forwards. You look at Grandidier scoring the try in the corner, but the French forwards, there was a scrum on their own 5-meter line. They turned over that scrum, gained 50 meters, then they turned over another scrum on the halfway line, and then Grandidier, simple run to the corner, and he's got the pace to finish that one off.
Yeah, the 22-year-old with English roots fancies himself as a bit of a DJ as well. Made his debut in Malaga this year on one of the 2 Spain stops earlier on. Great moment for him.
Part of a core of French players who've really stepped up this season, Grandidier, Epé, Sefo, among some others, just really stepping up and adding to that core of older French players. I think it's a good sign for the French going forward that they've got these young athletic guys emerging on the World Series.
Well, Stéphane Perez takes the kickoff, and he's one of those players who built that very solid mantle. Quick tap. Quick feet, Pauline Riva. Oh, stepping out of the tackle. Uragua just explodes to the line. 3rd try for France. Ho-ho-ho. And that's going to be a bit of a conversation, I think.
Yeah, it's just careless, and I think frustration from the Scots. You're never really going to be able to impact the touching down of the ball, and by sliding at a man's feet, I mean, that is dangerous. Didn't really didn't actually hit him because Uragua jumped out of the way, but he's still, yeah, a dangerous play there from Scotland. And the last thing they needed, having gone down 17-0, was to have to do 2 of these last 3 minutes with 6 players. So unfortunate for Scotland, and it's asking even more of their tired bodies, having to do this with only 2 guys on the sideline, or 2 substitutions. Now they have to do 2 minutes with 6 men.
And the conversions count. And it's going to be a penalty at halfway, I believe, for France because of that, because this try had already been scored. It is a bit of an unwritten rule on the 7 series, although we've saw in big moments players diving at the last minute, kicking or punching the ball out. So it's probably something that needs to be discussed again. That was highly dangerous, though, to go in at ankle height.
It's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a penalty, yes?
So Lee Jones, again, perhaps frustrated about that missed tackle, will spend 2 minutes in the bin. He's had an excellent tournament other than that moment. France are taking their time, up 19 points to 0. Taking more time. There we go, Hirago up. Set piece, goes out the back. Hard running from Riva, keeps it alive, nice offloading, good interplay from the French. Stéphane Perez is going to go all the way under the posts.
France with a really strong performance in this second half. It was very tight at half-time. You heard the Scots thinking they had the upper hand, and it's been France who've capitalized on their opportunities. And Stéphane Perez, he doesn't get as much limelight as some of these others like Epé and Sefo in this French team, but he's at the core of everything the French really do, and shows that he also has the speed to finish it off when he's given an opportunity.
Well, yeah, you spoke about the legacy of this French team. The 28-year-old started his 7th HSBC World Series experience back in Wellington in 2013, so he's coming up on a decade of service to the French side. So, final minute and a half here. Once again, the whole field just opens up again for Stéphane Perez. He's looking to give this to a teammate, and he does. He's sharing the wealth. Pauline Rival will get this one. High fives, and their final act here in LA is going to be tries all around.
And that was a huge gap that just opened up in front of Perez. I think all the Scottish players focused on this kickoff, and then when it's immediately shifted away from the point of contact, there's no one ready to get him. He couldn't quite see next on that clip where Sofalarin went. It looked like he should have had Perez lined up, but goes in and extends this lead, and the French now up 31-0 with 2 points left to come, and a very far cry from where we were sitting at half-time thinking this would be a very tense second half. The French have done a great job of just controlling possession, dominating these kickoffs, and taking their opportunities when they've been given them.
Jérôme Daré will be happy, the French coach, Christophe Reit. Great rugby man is their manager. They put in a lot of miles. Again, French win the initial knockback. Who's going to get their hands on it? Can they salvage something, take this goose egg off the board? They're going to use the kick-cack tactic. It's a foot race. The hooter sounds. I wonder if this one may just get kicked off the field if he can. Oh, he's messed it up. Scotland looking to finish the second nudge. The big dive, just too far for Harvey Elms. Well, spirit right to the end, but I don't think he's going to get the reward he wants.
It was first Perez and then Elms. The soccer skills, the football skills, not quite paying off. Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, closer than I thought it was on first glance, but clearly over the dead ball line. So it will be France
dead in goal.
33-0.
No try.
Thank you very much.
Well, and that will do it for this match. Scotland, nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
French solid. Some tired bodies out there, but handshakes all around.
I need to go to one touch.
Yeah, good win for the French in it, finishing their tournament on a high. And as we've been kind of talking about, all these teams with one eye on the Rugby 7